Coming out strong with cold piss.
Yeah.
Spit.
And then there's
The sexual innuendos in this entire, description of this has been very, very funny. It's an entire band of men over 6 feet tall.
Oh, I really like Alura because they do skits. And I hate that because that's not why I became in a band. I'm not trying to show up other bands, but it worked out in our favor because there were people that were there for them and they were just like, you guys are better than them.
Yeah, I am a smart mouth. How do you think I wound up where I am, who I am by now? Just another minute till we sisters sign off. So if you're not with it, wave bye, bye, bye. Pick me up, or you're gonna have a real bad time.
Hi, I'm Ashe and this is the I'm Dead podcast. Today we have Taylor Adsit, who is the lead singer of Grey and Alura, here with us. He's going over everything from how annoying Spotify is, all the great stuff he's got coming up. Here we go. It's always going to be weird. Hello, Taylor.
Hi, how are you?
So enthused. Okay, so I guess we're just going to kind of wing it. We're so good at having conversations, obviously.
Clearly, it's like I've done this before, at least once.
At least once, and they've never been this awkward. So
No.
Do you have anything coming up for either of the bands? Anything you want to talk about career-wise?
I mean, Alura just got done playing some shows in California, which was a lot of fun. Yeah, just met up with our friends in this band called Resider, another band from Vegas called Pure. Played 6 shows, kind of all over California. It was a good time. Went some places we never played before, and then played a show in Vegas, which was fun. It's always a good time doing that. I don't know, we hadn't done anything really besides play my birthday show, which was fun.
And you sell out every time in Vegas.
Yeah, this show is a little different because we didn't plan it. So it was at a much bigger venue than we normally play. But it was still fun. We're about to get to work on some other stuff, kind of doing some new, shooting some videos and preparing for some new releases next year for Alura.
Yeah, because you got signed recently, didn't you?
No, we didn't.
No? They didn't?
We didn't. No, we didn't. We're preparing for that new music and whatnot. And then Grey is kind of doing the same. We've got a lot of demos and things like that. We do have a show in Vegas on February 10th, which should be fun. We're playing with some friends, this band called Memoir and a bunch of other bands from Vegas. So
where can people buy tickets to that?
I believe everything is online. I'm not sure exactly where, probably through the Grey page, the link in bio, do that whole thing.
Nice.
We've been working pretty tirelessly on getting everything in order. We're trying to put together as cool of a show as we possibly can, and working on our live rig and stuff just is so agonizing and takes forever. And
you guys have a whole fucking screen and lights, and it is really cool. It's very much worth it for people who get to go see you. Grey is one of my favorite shows that I've gone and seen in Vegas.
Definitely. I mean, Tom, our drummer, has worked his ass off on all of that. And I'll give him full credit for just going, I don't know, all in on it. I told him, I was like, you can just plug in and play, right? And he's like, no, I don't want to do that. So we've got this whole live rig. He's worked tirelessly on making everything as streamlined as possible. And yeah, the last show we played, I feel like we had more production than the headlining band, which was I Set My Friends on Fire. And I'm not trying to show up other bands, but honestly, it worked out in our favor because there were people that were there for them, and they were just like,
wow,
yeah, you guys are better than them.
Grey is amazing.
Yeah.
And you guys are literally a cut above the rest of everybody. It's an entire band of men over 6 feet tall.
Yeah, unplanned entirely.
You're all just giants.
Miraculously, we always end up getting a fill-in bass player that's shorter than all of us. So
keep it balanced.
Yeah, and I mean, Tom is seated behind the kit, and I feel like he makes the drum kit look tiny because he's 6'9".
No, literally, it looks like a children's drum set.
Yeah.
I was like, is that the right size? And then he stood up and I went, oh, no, that is a normal size drum set and an abnormally sized human.
I'm really glad to still be doing music with those guys. And, Alura has been my baby since its inception, 5 years ago. And then...
and you guys had a different name initially, right?
Yeah, we were a band called We Gave It Hell for 7 years, and that was
In
fun.
case you were
and-
wondering where they went and you were like a fan of them, now you know.
Yeah, after 7 years of doing it, we really wanted to try something new. We just really felt like we had outgrown that name, and the style of music we were playing was changing, and there was just a lot more that we as people felt like we had done to outgrow that whole name. And we just decided to rebrand, and we bounced around a few different names, but ultimately we ended up with Alura because it was the easiest to say.
Where did you guys like draw the inspiration from for Alura? Or did you just like, you were like, this sounds cool?
So the band name, actually Drew, our guitar player, he was in a band probably like 15 years ago, but they were called Alura. And that band name came from, so it's some 1940s comedy movie. I guess their old singer was like really into old movies. And so he heard the name Alura, and she was like a temptress in the movie. So he just really liked the name. And so they kept it. And they put out like an album or something like that under that name. It never really did anything for them, but and then they broke up, and that's when he joined. I asked him for permission. I was like, "Hey, dude,
Can we have this name?
I don't want to like make you backtrack, and obviously like you loved this band, so why not just call our band Alura?" And he just said, "I mean, I'm not trying to rub that off on you guys, but if you're down, then let's do it."
The
So
sexual innuendos in this entire like description of this has been very, very funny. Are we talking
Right?
about?
Yeah.
No, it's not Ryan that we're talking about, is it?
No,
Okay.
no, we're talking about Drew.
Drew, guitar.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean,
rub that out on you guys.
no. Listen, it's just second nature to me at this point. I just kind of do it.
I mean, also the band's handle, guys, is at Alura Fucks, and so this just all is just like very beautiful and like cohesive to me.
I mean, and even that came from something really stupid. Like I think it was our first tour as Alura, and we were playing with this band called Varsity. They just kept on saying like, "Yo, you guys fuck," and I'm like, I don't. That's good, right? And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, no, you guys fuck."
A boomer.
And yeah, I don't
What
know.
does that mean?
I'm like, I don't know. Like I'd never heard the phrase that like something fucks.
Me
Like,
neither. I actually learned it from you guys, and now I say it all the time.
Yeah, other than, obviously the sexual stuff, but I'd never heard that anything fucked. And so they would go on stage and play after us, and they'd be like, "Yo, you guys, that Allure band fucks." So
fucking is fun and good. So I guess it makes sense.
yeah, so it was just and time went on, and I think our original like handle was Allura Sounds, and I had seen a couple other people do it, and then we were just talking about like, I don't know, like doubling down on it and just being like, why not just do it? I know it's vulgar, and it maybe doesn't appeal to the kids, but
you guys are a metal band. Vulgar, like,
yeah,
come on, it's the way.
I know my mom hates it, but
not music for your mom, guys. Not music for your mom. Just
I mean, listen, the music itself, it definitely could be for your mom, but
not your mom.
Just not my mom. If you have parents over 70, probably not. Both my parents love them to death, but they just, every time I play, they're always like, "I just wish you would not curse like that."
Why are you yelling so much?
I throw in a fuck or two, maybe 7, 8, 9, 10. But lyrically and sonically, lyrically and sonically, like we don't really curse that much. We kind of just have like a couple songs that have it, and I don't know. I just kind of naturally gravitated away from it. I feel like it's something you use, like cursing wise, is something you do a lot more when you're really young, and you're like, I gotta do this to prove myself. I gotta make myself look cool and say all the things my mom told me I couldn't say.
You also just have like a lot of angst and not as great a vocabulary yet. Yeah. You're like in iambic pentameter, and like fuck is every 4 words. I remember writing my lyrics in middle school. They were not.
Yeah.
They were not.
I learned. I took a creative writing class in college. That helps a little bit. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, it just kind of naturally gravitated toward Alura Fucks, and I think it just contributes further to our carefree nonsense narrative that I guess whatever we're pushing. I don't really know.
I feel like it fits your brand really well. You guys seem like a very fun band. Like all of your pictures on like the band photos on Spotify, like you're being grasped by a bunch of actually, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't describe this because it sounds very suggestive.
It's not as suggestive as it seems. It's just
No, it's just I'm describing it very, very poorly, guys.
yeah. But realistically,
Go listen, you'll
the
see
only
it.
reason that photo is our Spotify photo is because it was the only one of our promos that fit all of us in that didn't cut off somebody's head.
Well,
And so
it's
I tried all the serious ones and it like didn't work. And so I just said, hey, would you guys be cool if I used this one? And they said, yeah. And so
you
now
guys
that's
are
our
just
photo on both.
more genuine and authentic as a band when you are just growing out. And so like Alura Fucks works really well. And like your merch is also very humorous. I don't know. It makes Alura is very, they're like relatable. I don't know. You and Gray is like a different monster though. Like Gray is like that
Yeah.
band where I'm like, they're all really famous. Don't talk to them. So
I mean, we're not famous at all. But yeah, I think
delusion, develop it, have it, be famous.
I get to do both sides of music that I really like, which is one being with Alura, I just get to have fun and there's like no bullshit. We just kind of go up there and we are pretty much entirely ourselves the whole time. And I think the whole point is to be as obnoxious as possible when it comes to like the way we dress, the way we act, our music. And so it's fun in that regard. And then with Gray, I get to go down the more serious,
like the roots of what got you into music.
Yeah. And I think there was some people that would say like, oh, I hate how like music is too fun now. Like nobody takes themselves seriously, blah, blah, blah. And I've heard that from like other bands, more like legacy bands that have talked about that they miss like the seriousness of music. And so there's part of me that still that understands where they're coming from in that. But like, I also do love the fun part. Like I've always loved seeing bands fuck around and not be these unattainable celebrity type people. Like
I feel like
seeing
a lot
them be
of
human.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the biggest bands, a lot of the bands that have sort of set themselves up to be like multi-generational and stuff, they don't take themselves necessarily super seriously. You had like Grateful Dead, all of Led Zeppelin, none of them went on stage and they were like, we're going to take ourselves way too seriously. The world is already way too serious. Music is supposed to be like an escape in a way. And like you can be a serious musician and not just get completely lost behind like the appearance of being serious.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that that was kind of what we went into this knowing was like, I was so sick for years. We tried to like morph ourselves into whatever was cool at the time. And whether it was the style of music that we were playing or like our look or anything like that. There was like a running joke that my brother, Parker, the drummer, we would call him the shirt police because he would always be like, make sure everyone's wearing the shirt they're supposed to on stage today. And so like we were just like, yo, dude, chill. Like it's not that big of a deal. And I get it.
What are the right shirts though? Like I have a real serious question about that. Like the right band shirts or like the right Abercrombie shirt?
So like we were for one like EP cycle, we did like body paint. So like I had my own, and then the band did theirs, and they all had to wear like all black shirts, and then I had my own that I had like personally kind of destroyed and messed up to make it look like I was, I don't know, I guess slept in it for months and weeks and had just absolutely destroyed it. So, or it got destroyed in a fire. I don't know, but yeah, we were trying to go for that look. And
interesting creative direction.
I don't know. I don't even remember why we did it.
I was just about to ask whose idea was that?
I think it was it was like mine and Parker's a little bit, but like we were just trying to do something other than like the standard guys in a metal band wearing all black on stage, which we had done for a period of time. And so I was like, all right, let's do something where we look more uniform. And
now imagine if
that-
you guys had gone the Slipknot route and been the next band with masks. You could have been the new, I'm forgetting their names.
Okay.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
guys.
No, I see, and but that's never been me. Like I've never been the mysterious guy.
No,
I feel
you're also
in my
the
opinion.
Abercrombie model of both of the bands, so you can't.
Fair.
The point is to like not cover up the lead singer, unless he's busted.
Yeah, or canceled. Who knows?
Or canceled. That could be what is happening in those
We
other
don't
mass
know.
bands. Yeah, we don't know.
know.
Well, you do.
Yeah,
because you've seen them.
Yes, but you know, out of respect, I feel like at this point, like there's definitely a lot of people who know who they are, and they just don't say it out of respect because
keep the mystery.
You got to keep the narrative going. Like, I mean, I feel like the dudes in Slipknot gave up too quickly, and like people knew who they were pretty fast. Whereas like this has been going on for like, I don't know, they've been a band since like 2015, 2016.
My favorite theory is the Hozier theory. It's Hozier's metal band. There's an Irish folk.
That would be crazy. That would be insane.
Right? Imagine he just comes out one day and he's like, hi, it's been me this entire time.
I would love to just like unmask him and he's just him. So that would be very cool.
Would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
Yeah, right. I mean, I do love that. I love that they've been able to maintain their mystery and now they're just blowing up. They just sold out Radio City Music Hall. They just sold out.
Well, it's a genius marketing campaign.
They've never, and honestly, it's so great for all the band members because like none of them have to deal with being bothered in public. Like they can all go out,
just have a normal life.
Yeah, and with today's like. Similarly to how like boy bands were in like the late 90s, early 2000s and like Beatlemania and stuff like that.
Fucking
like those
One Direction.
But like with the TikTok fandoms now, it's like very similar to that in that like they're so obsessed with these people. Like,
well, the whole parasocial relationship thing that happens now with social media is like so exacerbated. Like I think the only people in like history that could maybe have some sort of comparison to it would be like the Beatles or like Madonna, where it was just like people came up with how close they were to these people in their head just from like reading magazines and stuff. And now you get doxxed. People will just show up at your house. They're like, hi, I'm a big fan.
It's kind of nerve-wracking in a sense, but people also kind of feel entitled to you and your like, time and knowing like everything about you for whatever reason. Like I don't love that. I feel like
feel you.
I would love to just be able to have people like me for the music part and not necessarily for the social media part. Like, oh, I really like Alura because they do skits. And I'm like, I hate that because that's not why I became like in a band. And
well, they like your skits because they get to look at you, bud.
Fair,
it's a way of them being like, wow, I feel like I know the band.
But at the same time, like
they're focusing.
You see these other dudes that are like, you know, these TikTok guys that are like, if you don't want to do skits and you don't want to do stuff, you shouldn't be a band. You shouldn't be trying to be in a band. And you shouldn't be trying to make music your career. And it's like, bro, like
this is a new thing.
Majority of them come off as super fucking corny. And they like you, I don't know.
You're like, we're not actors. We're not comedians. This is not what we were built for.
I look at it and I cringe. I'm like, this is so lame. And
you do cringe a lot.
I don't know.
You have the most cringe just like built up inside you of anybody that I've ever met, I think.
And people are like, oh, like, why can't you do that? Why can't you just like go do that effortlessly? Like,
because I'm overthinking it. Thinking of how everyone's going to receive it.
And I don't want I don't want that to take away from how people perceive my music and like how people perceive like what Alura is doing. Like, I think that it's cool that a band like Sleep Token can be super serious, keep this bit going, and everyone loves it.
Yeah.
And like that's a great example of a band that has the ability to do that. And like they didn't even shoot any music videos.
Engage
for their last
on their
album.
own terms.
No. Yeah. And like I appreciate that people are just like, I like this band because of like all the mystery behind them. They don't talk at shows. They don't like, it's cool. I like that. But I do also like the not giving a fuck and trying to focus on like the band, the music, and all that stuff, instead of it being like, how can I
pander to you?
We just wrote the song in the summer. Do you want to check this one out? And then that sort of shit. Like I did like a couple videos of that, and I hated them. And you know what? They got a fuck ton of interaction, and it pissed me off.
I know. I had to hear
so
about
mad.
it. Your most recent video was pretty good. Your one talking about like the show coming up, Drew's, very gently cradling you. Stuff like that. I feel like as long as you guys are also you, like you can feel when it's authentic. And I feel like the reason maybe that you cringe sometimes is because you guys as a band are still kind of trying to figure out like, how do we want to even communicate with people? Like, how do we engage with our fan base? Like, what is the brand maybe? As you mentioned earlier, but like that video was hilarious. I love that.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's still like, it's band centric. So like, it's me talking about something related to our band.
You're not trying to pander.
No, I'm not. And I think that people, unfortunately, this generation of people it's like you spend, I don't know, anywhere between $2,000 and $4,000 on a music video, and you work your ass off on it, and you come up with all these ideas, you try and be super creative.
MTV is dead, so music videos died too.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you put it out and you're like, this is what I want people to pay attention to. This is what I want to be the reference for my art.
But like the thing that's most consumed now is like 60-second videos vertically shot in a grocery store.
And so when we did the last music video for the Bell Witch, I told them, I was like, hey.
Sick video, by the way, guys. You should absolutely go watch it.
I said, hey, we're going to film this with vertical frame in mind, because that is what we're going to be posting everywhere. And so I think it worked out. As sadly, though, that the thing that people watched the most was just the dumb video of me, being like, oh, check out this song. And then, and that was what people gravitated towards. And again, it's just like,
well, if
everything's so different.
If it makes you feel any better, my photo posts get hundreds of likes. I posted about the podcast. I got 42 likes on a reel. I think it's just how they push. Instagram fucking sucks. TikTok suppresses you if you say one thing even slightly wrong. You didn't bleep out the half of the word fuck.
Yeah. And that's what we've struggled with as well. Cause like Alura had a pretty solid TikTok. I think we had like 7,000 or 8,000 followers, and we had like I think we had a couple videos with like 50, 60,000 views. And we were like, okay, cool. We're on track. Out of nowhere, shadow banned. Nothing we can do. We talked to everybody. We talked to people who like had bigger TikToks than us. We're like, yo, how do we fix this? They're like, you don't.
Yeah,
you got to just start a new one.
Yeah, you start a new one, or you get another viral video. Like you just make money for the app.
We didn't even do anything. Like it was not like we posted a video of us being stupid or bad or anything like that.
Yeah,
like,
you didn't get like a content warning.
No, and it just happened, and we went from getting thousands of views to 40 or 100, and it was just I don't know. I just
we'll both disappear on TikTok together. It's fine.
It's just hard to navigate, and people are like, oh, like if you just follow this formula, like everyone thinks that they know the formula. There is no formula.
No, you have coders sitting behind, like restructuring this algorithm literally daily. Like you think you have the mathematics of it. It's constantly improving. And now we have AI, so like good luck.
I don't know. It's just, it's continually, it's ever changing. And like, I've never known anything different. So like, I've never been in a fixed point music or social media platform. I mean, started out on MySpace, and
it would be great if that came back.
We all say that, but realistically, like, how would that look now? What would we do? Like,
it would just be Apple Music.
It just wouldn't be as popular.
Apple Music.
Like, it wouldn't be as what we think it would be. It would be something like...
I feel like Gen Alpha would just eat MySpace all the way up. Like, just like coding. Gen Alpha is fucking weird, though. I'm so excited to see them as teenagers. Like, I don't know. They're going to be so strange.
I feel like it's going to be weird because we even, Gen Z, Gen Y, and Gen X, they've all gravitated towards this like video, short attention span kind of thing. And we're all victim to it. I mean, I'll fully admit that myself, but yeah, like, do we really think that eventually we're just going to go back to like reading bulletins?
Yes.
And
History
sharing?
always repeats itself. You have Gen Alpha already being like, I just don't carry the phone with me because my mom told me I have to. They're like 10 years old and they're like, I just hate electronics. I don't want them with me. They're spying on me. It's a bunch of little baby conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, it's cool. My
Market to 10-year-olds.
Drew's kids
Maybe don't do
are starting to be like that. And I mean, they're only 2 and 3 years old. So
Yeah.
his 3-year-old son is like, he'll give him the iPad and he'll be on it for like 10 minutes. And then he looks at Drew and he's like, Daddy, I want to go outside. And he's like, yes, I love that.
Outside is more interesting. There's more to do outside. Like I have hope for the generation after the Tide Pod generation.
I mean, I'll fully commend
they avoided
Drew
the chemicals.
Yeah, exactly. I'll fully commend Drew for the way he's been raising his kids. He takes them on like walks in the park all the time.
He's a really enthusiastic parent. He's sweet to watch.
He makes me have hope for myself that like maybe I could do that at one point in my life. But
you are doing it with Henry.
Don't even get me started. He's been screaming this whole time. I like in the background. You can't hear it, but he's like outside in the hallway just yelling. I mean, I get like at most 3 hours of consistent sleep. And then after that, he's in my face, just screaming.
I'm laughing so hard. I have to fill in people watching this. So I fostered.
Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah, tell him.
I fostered this garbage cat. And I don't call him a garbage cat because he's like not a great cat. I did legitimately find him in the garbage. This cat is basically a human child. He was so overwhelming. I was like, hey, take your child from me. I was like, you want this cat? He's yours. And so it's beautiful hearing you be a parent. I am so sorry about this, but you get to be a parent. You're doing what Drew did. The 3 hours of sleep, the crying baby. You get to clean up his poop.
Oh, don't even get me started on that.
Does he still announce it?
No, but
Okay.
My issue is like the last 5 nights. So, I mean, I lock him in my room at night because I live with people, so I don't want to subject them to him roaming because he just runs up and down the stairs.
He's a sprinter. He's a sprinter.
He jumps down my whole stairs in three jumps, just 1, 2, 3, just all the way down. But so I'll bring the litter box in, I'll bring the food, I'll do the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then I lay down and I'm like about to sleep. And then I hear him make a noise in the litter box and he shits in the litter box.
As soon as you guys are ready for bed.
Yeah. As soon as I'm about to go to sleep.
Every night?
This has been the last 5 nights consistently. So I have to get up and like, I don't know what it is, what's wrong with kitten intestines and whatnot, but they just don't make it smell good.
I feel like I tried everything too. I like changed his food.
He doesn't eat wet food. I only give him dry food and it still happens. And then even then, like he definitely has his moments of being absolutely adorable and sweet. And I love it. But yeah, my coworker looked at me on Monday and he was like, hey, you look pretty tired, man. I was like, that's because I have a kitten.
I have a child now.
He's waking me up every single day. And that same coworker also has a 1-year-old. So he's like, oh, bro, you're like me. And I said, yeah, basically, except your child is screaming and mine is meowing, but I call it screaming because
he's a yeller.
I don't know what, like, I hear my friend also has a kitten around the same age. And I go over to his house, and if you like step on her, she just doesn't even make any noise. She'll just like open her mouth and like let out a little peep, and
kind of like pixies chirping.
Yeah, and then he is just like, it's like
he yells.
Like I don't know what is in his vocal cords, but he's
your child. He is a metal singer's kid. He like is legitimately your cat.
I don't know. I mean,
put him on a track.
I'll try. I mean, that would require me bringing him to Drew's house, and Drew doesn't like cats. So, or maybe I could just do it here. I don't know.
Just record. Get a little recording on your phone, and be like, "We got to put this in."
Yeah, we'll figure it out some way, shape, or form.
We'll be featured.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a learning curve for sure, but I'm I'm figuring it out. It's fun. I haven't had a cat since since I lived with my parents. So that was 9 years ago. It's been fun, but yeah, he's a handful, and I don't know. I don't know how people do this with
Real children. Yeah.
with real children, because like with him, I can just tell him to shut up, and normally it works. But you can't do that with a baby.
I mean, you can. It just might not work.
Probably doesn't help. I have no experience, so
I have 3 younger siblings. It worked like 42% of the time.
yeah.
Just
And look how they
shut
turned out. I'm just kidding. All your siblings are great. I loved all of them. Seriously.
So that's good. You have music videos coming out, new songs. I saw that you had a Twitter post saying that you made, how did you phrase it? I don't know. You really gassed it up. You were like, I think I just made the best songs that I've ever made in the entirety of my life.
Yeah.
Is that
happen.
what's the music video that's getting made? Is like that all connected? No, they're completely
No.
different. Are you what?
No. So I don't know. That song will probably come out later, but it's gonna come out. And I mean, I don't know. It's just one of those where everything just works, and it's always the ones that I don't care about. That I don't know. I just go in with like the laziest idea, and I'm like, okay, well, this is what I wrote, and then we do it, and it turned. Those are
Just
so
works.
our yeah. So currently out right now, our top 3 most played songs, which are Counterfeit, Disciple, and Lowlands. All of those songs were the songs I did not really try. I like legitimately, we did Counterfeit in like an hour and a half. And it was some lyrics I pulled from that I like randomly wrote while we were on tour one time. And I just was like, oh, this kind of works.
I didn't know that you wrote that quickly.
Yeah. So, and
I
then
do
we
know
just
that you were
pieced it
drunk in
together.
the music video. That fact I was aware of.
Yes. Well, I mean, there was a lot of factors there. My ex-girlfriend decided to show up. It went from like everyone's cool to like, okay, we have 40 people packed into this house, or 40 or 50 people packed in this house, and we're shooting a music video. How do we keep them entertained for listening to the same song
Over
15 to 20 times?
Again.
And we're like, pizza and alcohol. Let's do it. So, yeah. I mean, there's shots in the video of like, I don't know, someone handed me a bottle and, was baby birded me. I don't know what you call that. But
yeah. No, I saw it.
Yeah. But yeah, so Counterfeit and then Disciple was the same way. I didn't even come in with any lyrics, and we wrote the lyrics on the spot. And that was like another maybe hour and a half, 2 hours at the most for the whole thing. And then Lowlands, like I wrote it during the height of the pandemic, and we were doing a song a week for probably about, I don't know, 7 to 10, or probably like 10 weeks or something like that. And so he would send me a demo, we'd come in and do it. Now, granted, not all of them turned out to be great, but they were fun. And Lowlands was one of the ones where I was like, I don't know how to write about the pandemic without it being corny, so I'm gonna try. And I did that. And
hold on,
then,
that creative writing class you took in college.
yeah, exactly. I made myself put myself in the shoes of somebody who might have had the virus, and
I love how you the virus.
The virus.
I don't know. I call it the plague. So I feel like we both have our terms for.
It's a buzzword now. So I would hate for this podcast to get suppressed because we said the word.
Yeah, the word. Yeah, can't have Joe Rogan notice me.
The vid. But
I
yeah,
like the plague. So the virus is good.
Plague, the virus. Yeah,
both of those work.
But yeah, and it worked out like that. So we got those 3 songs, and they're easily our most popular. It just happened. I don't know how, and then this one was the same way. This song doesn't even have a song name yet. So it's just
waiting on it.
It's a demo name, which is a number, because
EP1.
Drew is not creative when it comes to demo names. I feel like there's so many other people that write like silly names for demos, and his are just numbers.
You guys could just
And
go like the Panic at the Disco Fall Out Boy route. Be like
yeah,
Taylor's Fungal Big Toe or some shit.
you're right. And that's what I wanted to do. I told him, I was like, why don't you do that? And so at one point I compiled a bunch of our demos and I put them on a CD and I named them all individually. And they're all like the most ridiculous names I possibly could come up with at
Don't
the
you have a
time.
folder of like ridiculous punk band names?
Well, it's just ridiculous band names in general.
Oh, that's
yeah,
right.
I mean,
No, I have mine is specified to punk band.
yeah. But yeah, I have a full list of band names that we started with a few of my friends that were just like as a joke that
Give
we
me your
could.
top 4.
Cold Piss. Let's see, Gay Mummy. What? Hold on,
Pull up the list.
I need to pull it
I
up
need
because
5. I take it back. I don't want just 4. I want 5 of these. Coming out strong with Cold Piss.
yeah. And then
Sorry, I love that. I love that fucking video on TikTok.
at this point, I feel like I'm just doubling and tripling down on anything band and music related because I'm like, I think this is funny and I'm doing this just for me.
That's why you should do everything, dude. Do it for you, you know? Lean into the fucking weird.
People are always like, oh, I do music for like, I want to like spread my message or like, I want to like help people and whatnot. I'm like, all of us, all of you are liars.
Well,
you're all liars. You all do it for you. I know you. Like you. Everyone does it for themselves.
I've noticed that's very unique to Vegas. Like I have never heard so many people. Vegas gives me like it's a very try-hard town. Like it's just a bunch of tryhards trying really, really hard. Like imagine if Bloodhound Gang had tried that hard and lived in Vegas and was like, I really just want to spread my message of the, I feel like people relate better to bands that are just like them. It's like, no, we really like the music and it makes me feel alive when I play. It's like these people that are like, I want to bring world peace to the hungry children of South Vegas.
Yeah, and you're going to do that by screaming into a microphone or mumble rapping or whatever it is that you do. Like,
yeah,
look, at the end of the day, it's music. I write music that I think is cool, and I write lyrics to songs that are directly related to my life.
That maybe other people could relate to.
Yeah. Like if anyone wants to know about anything that has happened to me in the last 10 years of my life, there's at least 30 songs that you can listen to.
But you better fucking
related.
Understand metaphors because he's not going to tell you directly.
No, I don't do that.
I'm like, I've listened to most of your music and I have no idea what's happened to you.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. That's the goal. It sounds cool, right? Sounds really good, but
it does. And you can understand you. You enunciate. You can actually understand. He goes rah rah, but you know what he's saying when he rah rahs. It's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I feel like sitting there and trying to portray yourself as someone who has this holier than thou message, and maybe it's something that develops the longer you are doing it. I don't know. I play music because I love it, and I don't.
It just kind of it feels a little bit like prepping for sound bites. Like it's like when people ask you something, you're like, I'm not Jay Leno. I don't need you to like. I don't. No one's. This isn't the Rolling Stone. Like, just tell me why you make music for real.
Yeah, and I mean,
say I want to be famous. Like, if it's just because you want to be famous, just fucking say that.
Yeah, and I think that ultimately we are at a point which is very cool. Which like I even now like if you were to ask me when I was 14 years old if I would have one song, let alone like multiple songs with like 500,000 plays or like over 1 million plays, I would have laughed in your face.
Like no way.
I would have said no way. And I mean, even looking back on all the things that we've done, the bands we've played with, the places we've played in, like I would have never anticipated even any of those opportunities. So to be in the position we are in now and to be playing the music that we are, I just feel grateful to actually be here and to be doing it because it's not something that I ever anticipated happening. I'm not, I'm not like the manifestation person, but I just kept trying and kept working and things happened.
You poured your heart into it.
Yeah, like I'm nothing against manifestation. I
Well,
don't
I
know
mean,
what the hell
pouring
that,
your
yeah.
heart into it is like you wanted something bad enough. I mean, as the shit stands now, people are like, I'm going to think about it and then it's going to happen. It's like, no, you think about it so that you take the correct steps to like you did it the way that it's supposed to happen. You want something, you keep thinking about that, you do the things that you're supposed to, and then eventually everything else just kind of falls into place. Like you are where you are because you have put so much work into your craft and the outcome that you desired. Like, of course, you're going to have millions of plays. I listen to your music and I'm like, why aren't they more famous?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But I don't know. We've just worked hard. Like, I mean, I've been playing music with Parker since I was 13, and I've been playing music with Drew since I was 18. And, I'm 30 now, and that's just weird to think how much time I've been playing music with them. And I mean, even Ryan, he joined our band as a fan of the band. And then now he's been playing bass for us for the last 7, 8 years. So it's just, it's all very cool. And I try to, I guess, relish in the fact that I'm still doing it and I still have opportunities and I still get things thrown my way. And it's still all very surreal to me. And I'm trying to be more and more grateful for those sort of things as they happen because I feel like I blinked and like a lot of the cool stuff that I did when I was younger, like I didn't fully grasp or understand. And then like we watched some old videos of old performances last night and like a music video we never put out where we played to the most people we've ever played to. And I was like, why didn't we put this out? And everyone was like, I don't know. I don't remember why we never put it out. But like seeing footage from that being like, man, that was really cool.
Cut it into a new video. Make like a big old compilation video of
all of us
all of
look
your
like
shows.
children.
I mean, you all kind
Like-
of a little bit do still look like children. Like I don't.
Fair.
None of you really look different from 10 years ago. Drew looks a little bit more tired, but he has 2 kids.
Yeah. I mean, I had no tattoos in this music video.
Your hair actually makes you look like a baby. You had your hair was dated.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Still
that's
good.
fine.
Still good
Yeah.
for the time. But you can tell what
Yeah.
time it was. Kind of like how
Exactly.
you look at girls' eyebrows in pictures and you're like, oh, that's from 2016.
I mean, I wouldn't notice that. But,
Yeah, I don't know why I pitched that.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a
funny
girl
to
thing.
me.
It's not. It's a girl thing. It's not something that I would know about. I feel like I definitely recognize it based on like hair trends or like beard trends for dudes.
Oh my God, the beards of 2016.
There's not nearly as many man buns anymore.
They were like so cut. It was just like the era of fake jawlines. Oh,
yeah, I mean,
wow.
we're still kind of in that. I don't know. Dudes be doing too much. It's like the man version of makeup.
Who's that? He's like, who's that famous musician dude? I know that's
I know
not
exactly what you're talking
specific. Jack.
Oh, that guy?
Harlow.
For sure.
Jack Harlow.
Oh, Jack Harlow. Yeah.
I just saw a picture the other day of what he actually looks like without the beard, and I'm like, oh, it's a Dr. Seuss character. Don't add that. I don't want to be taken down by fucking Jack Harlow's team or his fans.
Just a nerdy little white guy.
Just
it's
a
fine.
nerdy little white boy.
Listen, I'm saying good for him, dude. Like he did it. He did the thing, and
I think he got a chin implant because there's something supporting that beard. There's no way that's all
maybe.
hair.
I don't know. He's doing well enough now. He's making money. So, despite the fact that I don't know. I feel like every so often we get like another white rapper that like really isn't doing anything special, but like they're just like, this is the one. This is the guy we're going with.
Well, because there's so few of them, that like they lost Eminem and they were like, this one works. And they've just been panicking trying to find Eminem since, and no one can.
It was like G-Eazy 10 years ago, and then he fell off, and like now it's
Well,
Jack
he got
Harlow.
canceled.
Oh, that too, I guess.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think that's what happens to most white rappers. It's what happens to most white men.
I guess, yeah. You gotta keep it together.
Well, I mean, they're like, wait, I built this society. Why is it mad at me?
Yeah, I mean, I hope nothing I say on here gets
No,
me
you're
in
fine.
trouble. So.
I would just yell at you. You've met me.
I know.
I've got a big mouth and a lot of opinions.
True. I don't know. The music industry is weird. It ebbs and flows. There's never a dull moment.
Great way, because I wanted to bring this in. We're going to end up wrapping up kind of soon. I wanted to briefly touch on where you would like people to like listen to Alura and Gray, because there is a very large shift in music platforms and streaming and consumers' awareness of how musicians are being treated, the payouts they're getting, how where you listen and get your music from actually affects the artists that are creating it. So like I'd love to hear a little bit from you on that and like which platforms you would like to be supported on. And shoot, because you have a lot of really great views there and know far more about it than me. But now I'm on streaming services, so I guess it kind of affects me a little.
Yeah. So there was a big push. There were some musicians that were trying to work with lawmakers, trying to help musicians get better payouts because the streaming is brand new. And so there's not enough, like a lot of the laws that are in place for musician royalties are still from like the 70s. And so they haven't changed since then. And because there's not nearly as many CD sales, anything like that anymore, then they don't make money.
So it's almost like kind of what the actors and writers union kind of went in to negotiate, where it's like you have all these new services that were not originally part of the unions because they didn't exist yet. And now it's... Is there like sort of like a musicians guild? Is there something like that?
Kind of. There's like the only thing that I can really think of off the top of my head, and maybe this is my naivety at this point playing into it, but there's BMI and ASCAP, which are artist groups for collecting royalties. And in a way, they kind of help because like you can register all your music on there, you can register all your live performances, and so you get performance royalties, you get royalties from whether it was played on like YouTube, streaming services, all the above. And it took me a while to actually do it because I haven't, it's just a tedious process and it takes a while. So I personally went on there, registered all our stuff, gave ourselves all the credit. And so now, we've been getting royalty checks, which are not that much, but there's something. So
yeah, you're at least getting credit recognized.
Yeah.
Receiving
but
something.
I mean, as far as the streaming services go, there was only two, and I mean, this is just a fact, that protested or appealed, I guess, the potential laws being put in place or the court rulings, and it was Spotify and Amazon that don't want to pay musicians what they deserve.
Well, no, they've created like their own forms of monopoly. So like, why?
Yeah, and so Spotify has continued to prove why they don't really care about artists. I mean, now they've just put in place that songs have to get a certain number of streams
like
in order for them to
before you start getting paid or something. Right?
It's less. I believe it's 1,000. Like if a song doesn't get 1,000 streams in a month or a year or whatever, then they don't have to pay out any royalties anymore, or that's just how they're restructuring. But I mean, Spotify is a company that has never made a profit. They're still trying to figure out how to make their business model profitable. And they might be one of those companies that's too big to fail, but they continue to prove that they just don't really care about artists. And like,
oh no, they're failing. They're artists. They're failing the people who like keep them fucking in business.
But I mean, don't get me wrong. Like there is a lot of opportunity on Spotify. It's
exposure mostly.
We have earned a lot of our streams and we've earned a lot of fans from them. So I do have to give them credit in that regard. Is their algorithms are a lot more friendly towards unknown artists getting on these bigger playlists that they have established. So I mean, every song that we've put out in the last probably a year or so has showed up on one of the algorithmic playlists, which I don't know who's running it now, but shout out to you. Thank you for that. And it does help. I do think that there are some things that they need to do to help create a better space and help give artists what they deserve. I don't know if that means increasing the subscription because like they increased the amount you pay monthly and they didn't give it to the artists, you know?
Yeah. They could be charging advertisers more. There's a number of things.
They gave Joe Rogan $100 million to just keep his podcast on Spotify. And I'm like, well, you could have, like, that's cool and good for him, but also,
Joe Rogan,
like, what is that?
Let's have a cage match.
What does that do?
No, don't. He might take me up on it.
Yeah. What does that do for the rest of the community? I mean, Spotify was based entirely around music, and then you doubled down on your podcasts, and now apparently that's not working out in their favor either. So I don't know. Personally, So I do subscribe to Spotify, but it's just so that I can have access to all of the tools of being an artist and I can see all of our metrics. Personally, I do use Apple Music. The music sounds better on there. They had no problems with any of the laws being put in place because Apple's bread and butter isn't just music. I mean, obviously they
got everything.
Computers. They have the most popular phone, arguably, on the planet. It's just
accessories.
So they didn't. Yeah, and that's why it also kind of blew my mind that Amazon would even think to be like, oh, let's not pay out musicians, because I'm like, you have so much money.
They've
like,
got a monopoly across multiple
industries. They use
industries.
you for everything. And you really think that paying out musicians is that difficult for the 3 people that use Amazon Music?
Well, Jeff Bezos needs that money for his skin suit. Someone's got to moisturize it, don't you know?
The dude's worth multiple billions of dollars.
Yes, but do you know how much he has to pay his skin suit lotioner? Sorry. My brain is referring to the Vogue shoot.
Are you trying to get put on a list here? Is that what you're trying to do?
I'm sure I'm already on a list.
But yeah, so I mean, and surprisingly to what most people believe, the music service Napster still exists.
So Napster, iTunes, Apple Music, it's not iTunes anymore.
Napster is the streaming service that pays out the most to artists. So yes.
Okay, everyone, download Napster. I know that it's been a long time since 2005, but we can do it. It doesn't. Yeah. It's not LimeWire. This will not give you viruses.
You're not going to get a Spotify Wrapped. You're not going to get a Wrapped, but the
why
artists
my
will
Spotify Wrapped
love you.
Was free advertisement for y'all.
Yeah, I don't know.
You came right after Hosier.
I enjoy the things that Spotify does. They're definitely doing a lot of stuff that is keeping people on their platform. However, it continues to just not be an artist friendly. It is a user friendly.
Spotify, get your fucking shit together.
And you can discover music very well on their platform, but it is not artist friendly. And I mean, we're trying. I think the more that people are vocal about things like this, as well as like a lot of the bands playing in the big leagues, dealing with merch cuts from venues, it's a whole another can of worms you got to open up, where venues are taking anywhere between 25 and 30% of your merch sales, despite the fact that they contributed nothing other than a space for you to set up your merch in. I would get like 5%. Sure, like it's you provided me with a space, but the reason everyone is here is because those bands are playing there. The reason that your bar is getting a bunch of money is because the bands are playing here. Like, yes, you are providing them with the space, but like they're also providing you with a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, they made the merch. They made everything there is because they brought it, not.
Yeah. It's just it's really shitty the way that everything is scrubbed from the artist, and the artist ends up getting the lowest payout when they're the ones in the shit, doing the shit, being as away from their families, their friends, missing birthdays, holidays, everything like that. And the artist is the last one to get paid.
Yeah, they get the crumbs of their talent. Time to shift the world back from like the big guys down to the artists. Let's bring it back around from industry to artistry. Everyone should give you guys a listen on like Napster. I'm just
Napster, Tidal. I'll just name all the B tier streaming services. Personally, I would say Apple Music. If you got Spotify, that's fine too. Just wherever music can be found, just give us a listen. I'm gonna have a busy year with both Gray and Alura next year, so be on the lookout for that stuff. And I appreciate everyone who has listened thus far.
Well, it was great having you. We'll put the links to everything below. Make sure you give me your really great novelty t-shirt site, because I feel like that's going to be very successful.
We'll see how it goes. I still got to discuss it. I got to get some more brainstorming going, but yes, it will be in there.
Amazing. Well, thank you for coming by, Taylor. Coming by, thanks for coming on the TV.
By sitting in my room.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much. And appreciate everyone listening.
Well, I'll see you tomorrow or something when I pick up my dog.
Sounds great.
Amazing. You have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Bye. I'm Ashe Lamro. This is the I'm Dead podcast, and we'll see you next week.
You are gonna have a really, really bad time, sir.